Okay, so I'm doing this video and I'm probably not going to make sense for part of it because I'm just kind of doing it on the fly. I wanted to um, let you guys know what happened with an order. Anyway, I had a video that I did of all this stuff that I bought at a couple of the thrift stores here in town last week, and it ended up being like an hour long, and I was like, ugh. So I was gonna edit it, and then while I was editing it, I noticed, because I had a sundress on, and I noticed that because I was holding up scarves and stuff like that, the fat under my arms was everywhere, and I was like, okay, I don't really care about people seeing that, but I didn't want to gross you guys out, so not gonna do that. That video is not getting posted. But I've been debating on whether to stick like little stickers over my fat arms during the video. And I was like, no, that's stupid because that'll just be distracting. And then I was like, well, I could just redo the video. And no, I don't want to do that either because it was like an hour. So, yeah, I'm just not going to do that video. And I'll just do one later as stuff sells or gets listed or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so last night, I mean, it was really early this morning, I was trying to get some things listed, and it's a bunch of my Nini Thomas Bubble Writer fairies and some of my other fairy type stuff. So they're not all bubble writers. And I'll post some little images here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Anyway, at like 4 o'clock this morning, um, I was still awake, and I was done uploading them all and posting all my listings, and I got an offer on one of them, and the price I had set on the item was I think $49.99, and they offered me 49. And at the time, because I was I was tired and I just wasn't thinking right, I was like, well, that's weird. And so I accepted the offer because I'm like, it was 99 cents off of what I was asking. Now, in retrospect, I'm thinking, okay, they offered me that because if someone does a buy it now on one of my auctions, I require immediate payment. So now I know why they did that. They didn't want to have to pay right away because they were trying to mess with me. And this was one of those situations, and I've watched other resellers talk about getting scammed on eBay, and I think that's what they were trying to do. I'm not positive, but they're not going to because I caught it. And I think it's because my feedback score is super low. And my username is Fat Grandma, so they think I'm an old lady that they could just mess with. Well, no, because I've been around long enough to know that there's scammers everywhere, and if something smells the least little bit fishy to me, I'm noping it all the way, no, it's not happening. So, anyway, back to when it first happened, I sent them the invoice for the amount that they had offered, and it still hadn't dawned on me why they did that, But I know they did it because they didn't want to have to pay right away. They didn't want to do the buy it now and have to pay the invoice. So um, anyway, when I sent them the invoice, I sent myself a copy of the invoice, and the copy that I got back, all of the writing is in Chinese. I got a copy of what went to them, and it was it was in Chinese. And I'm like, okay, I have my settings so that I don't ship internationally. I don't ship outside the US, not now, because I just started, and I've watched videos on some horror stories about people shipping outside of the US to international buyers and ending up, getting stuff back that isn't what they even sent the buyer, or the buyer's package gets destroyed because it goes to some place that's kind of a middleman that handles international shipping for sellers that, for buyers that want to buy from the U.S. sellers, but the sellers don't ship internationally, like me. So Anyway, back to the story. I said this was going to be all over the place. So I get this email, copy of the email that I sent him, him or her, excuse me. And it's in Chinese, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I sent them a message, and I said, I do not ship outside of the U.S. Is your mailing address located in the United States? Now, I thought I saw their address as somewhere in Georgia, um, somewhere, but I can't find it now. So, and I'm going to share little screenshots up in the corner when I edit the video to share it with you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about, with the email that I got. And anyway, so I wrote them back. I wrote them after I sent them the invoice, and I got the weird Chinese version. And I said, I don't ship outside the U.S. And then this morning, I get an email from the buyer that says, Dear business partner, text me, not even text, just text me on 812-405-4059. I have some questions about the item. I immediately knew there's something fishy going on. So I wrote them back and I said, I will not communicate with you outside of eBay messages. I was hurrying. I am going to cancel the transaction since this doesn't feel valid to me. So I went through eBay, messaged them back, told them you're done, I'm over it, not even going to bother. And then I immediately went and blocked them. So they can't bid on any of my future stuff. They can't bid on anything I've listed now. I'm not going to deal with them. And last night after they made the offer and I accepted it, I went and looked at their feedback, and this was another red flag. All of their feedback was positive. There wasn't very much of it, but what they did have was positive, but they had their feedback hidden. Like, you can see how many positives they had, but you couldn't read any of it. So you couldn't look to see what they were buying or who made the comments to them, what sellers they were talking to. So I have a feeling there's like a whole slew of these scammer buyers out there. I'm only assuming that's what this was, but it didn't feel right from the very beginning. And then the more I thought about stuff, the more it just, they were trying to scam me somehow. I don't know what they were going to do, but I wasn't having it. I'm not in the mood for it, and I just started doing this again, and I'm not dealing with assholes, excuse my mouth. So, anyway, yeah, their feedback was hidden, and then I get the email back of the copy that, from the invoice, the email that I sent them with their invoice in Chinese when I don't ship international. And then they want me to communicate with them through text, and I'm like, no, that's not happening. I'm not doing that. If you have questions for me, you can send them through the eBay message system, and we'll deal with it that way. So that way my butt's covered. If anything weird happens, now if they go in and try to leave me negative feedback, I'll contact eBay and have it removed, because I kind of have proof that they were trying to do this outside of eBay, and that they were an international buyer, just with what I'm seeing on my screen anyway. So if I get a negative feedback, which would be really bad at this point because I only have 2 positive, and they were from people I bought stuff from, none of my buyers are leaving feedback yet. So I'm just waiting, but I now have 30 items listed in my store, so that's good. Made a goal for myself to do 10 listings a day, but I think that's going to get changed to 5 because 10 has been a little overwhelming, and I'm spending a lot of time on eBay stuff every day, taking photos, editing them, and doing the listings. Doing the listings is still taking me a really long time because I'm still getting used to doing it. I don't want to mess anything up or forget anything. When I do the shipping part of it, that's when I get the most nervous, is because you have to put in the measurements of the box. And it's like, well, I don't know what size, I don't know what the box is going to look like, or exactly how much it's going to weigh, because I'm not boxing stuff up before it's sold. You know, that's not happening. So you have to guess, and I've got my scale, and I kind of give a ballpark figure or whatever. But I don't like doing that. You know, there should be a better way to do this, but there's not. So anyway, I'm going to cut it back to 5 a day as like my quota or whatever you want to call it. And it's good to have goals. And once I'm more comfortable with it and it's getting easier for me and I'm a little bit faster, then I'll increase it to 10 listings a day. But for now, I think I'm just putting a little too much pressure on myself. And I don't want to get burnt out because I'm famous for that. Like, I'll be all gung-ho on something and then I get burnt out on it because I do it too, I'm too earnest about it, and I'm too involved in it, and I don't take time away from whatever it is, and then I get burnt out on it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm bored of that, you know. So anyway, that's what happened to me, and I will try to share some screenshots so you guys can see what I'm talking about with regard to what sold. You know, I wish I still had the offer that they made, but I can't find it in my they should keep track copies of all of that in your eBay messages. Like if someone makes you an offer, that should be a message in your inbox so that you can go back and look at that. But they don't, so that's fine, whatever. Or I can't find it anyway. I looked because I wanted to see exactly what that email looked like that I got. Anyway, maybe I have a copy of it in my inbox and I'm not even awake really because I wanted to do this after dealing with that first thing this morning. I'm surprised my brain cells were firing off because I caught it and I was like, that's messed up. They're doing something fishy. So, anyway, I guess that's it for today. And this is already almost 13 minutes. So, hope you guys have a good day. It's Monday, and we got a whole week ahead of us. So, hopefully, I'll have some legit sales this week. We'll see. Bye.